Hello, I am Pete Leva, and first of all, thank you for taking my course. Um, and second of all, I'm sorry this is online. This pandemic has thrown a wrench in almost everything that we do, including this course. So I hope that all of you will get some valuable information by taking this course. It is my hope that you guys will have plenty of resources that you can use to be an effective psychology instructor whenever you get that teaching job that you want. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go over a few things: the syllabus, the assessments, and the national standards that you will use um, during this course for your lesson plans, and we'll talk about Bloom's taxonomy and all sorts of things. Okay, so let's start off with the syllabus. So again, my name is Pete Leva. I have been. This will be, if we have a real school year, anyways, my 14th year teaching in psychology at Emporia High School here in town. It's a great job. It's a great gig. I, you know, kiddos don't come in there with any kind of preconceived notions of what psychology is. They don't come in there with a negative attitude or a positive attitude. So it is your attitude that will make whether it's positive or negative. And so just realize, we have an advantage being psychology teachers, especially with high school students. And so use that advantage to the best of your ability. Course materials, there's nothing for you to buy. You just need to use the American Psychological Association's National Standards for High School students. It's online, and so it's free. So no books, nothing to buy. Um, Now, usually in the past, when I taught this course, I would have some extra introductory psychology textbooks, but you can find some online actually that you can use. And so when we get to that assignment, you'll be able to find introductory psychology textbooks online that you can use to compare and contrast the different types of psychology textbooks, which will be coming up. Course descriptions, there is nothing that is not psychological. Everything that we do in life is psychological as human beings. And so, that's important to remember. If this is correct, then everything is available for pedagogical. I can't talk today. Pedagogical use in high school psychology teacher. Um, you have to provide richness in the classroom to advance students' understanding of psychology. This course will provide readings, invited presentations. That is mainly the course right there. For the most part, is you guys presenting your lesson plans every week to the rest of us via Zoom. Okay, and so when you guys do your lesson plans every week and develop your, whatever you use, worksheets, games, or strategies, present it to us via Zoom, and we'll meet once a week that best fits whatever available time for all of us. I'm available after school, after 4 o'clock, every day. I should be available, and so whatever works best for you guys, we'll make it work. All right. As of right now, I only have one student, and so if it's just one student, well, it's easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So we'll make it work. If it's more than one, that's fine too. So again, this class is about lesson planning and you guys thinking of new ways to teach materials and different types of strategies. Okay. Here are the standards. You can read through those later. Candidates exhibit knowledge of, make sure we understand that we help, with what's that word I'm trying to use? Um, we have to take in consideration everybody who comes into our classroom, whether they be poor, minority, and the type of demographics that you are working with and be able to teach your demographics about other cultures, other societies, other races, and all sorts of things. Try to incorporate that into your lesson plans. Just like, perceptions. Perceptions are unique to everyone. Does that mean that the way we see things, psychologically speaking, has an effect on, how we react to one another? Right now we're going through this pandemic where the perception of masks is a big deal. Some people who choose not to, and rest of us who choose to. And perception of what wearing a mask means. That's psychology. And that also talks about where people are from and what they came in with and with their ideas. And so, try to do that. Legal issues, ethical standards, subject matter, content, all sorts of things. Teaching, learning in a dynamic, constructive, and metacognitive processing. Metacognitive is thinking about thinking. Learning how to interact with your students in a way that is comforting, welcoming, hopefully non-confrontational. All those things are very important in having a good, constructive, and welcoming classroom environment. So move on from there. Make sure you demonstrate some ability to do things like integrate new concepts into your lesson planning, implement non-biased techniques, use knowledge of subject matter, learning experience. All these things you can probably go in on your own. And just know, I just hope that you learn to be creative in your lesson plans in a way that incorporates and influences all of your students as best as your ability, at the best as you can. And there's really no limits. This is a creative course where you guys show me your ideas, and hopefully, you learn something and have fun doing it. To move on, again, you can read all these on your own. Here's the Kansas State Department of Educational Professional Education Standards, things that are very important for us to be effective practitioners in education, and then so forth. So this is all things that you can read on there. So we got our different psychological standards, and this talks about what the students should know and what should the students be doing. I'll just let you read all that on your own. Okay, so here is the calendar. August 17th. 2-minute self-introduction, syllabus review, the standards. We might push that back to the following week when we find a date that we all can meet. Rubric, we'll talk about that here pretty soon. We'll talk about Bloom's Taxonomy and what makes a great teacher. And then the assignment is to read the national standards and read 1A. Okay, and then also read the 25 learning principles that I should have up for you to read, and be prepared to apply them to teaching and student learning throughout the course. So nothing really big the first week of our class. August 24th, we'll start talking about cognitive psychology for teaching and learning, how to apply the 25 learning principles, teaching the methods domain, okay, and a critical thinking discussion, and beginning class activities. And we might zoom this up so we can have critical thinking discussions, or I might just have a video. We'll see what happens when it comes time. Okay. Let's see. Then on September 14th is your first lesson plan that is due. Okay, over research methods. So my hope and my goal is to have everybody on Zoom and be interactive, and you can show us your worksheets or your games or your activities or your Kahoots or whatever it may be. Show us your skills. All right, show us what you got. Show us, treat us like students the best you can in the situation that we're in with with being apart from one another because of the COVID-19. Okay. So, first lesson plan is due on September 14th. Then you demonstrate, and then we'll go over maybe via Zoom or video. We'll talk about what would be best for all of us. So would you rather read live so you can ask me questions, or would you rather me just lecture like this on Screencastify? We'll leave it up to you. And then I'll provide some activities for you to use for the biological basis of the human brain, the senses, and all those other things. And we'll also talk about cooperative learning strategies. Okay. And then next week, we'll talk about, hopefully have everything graded, and we'll talk about sensations and perceptions are next. Okay. And all those other things. Talk about the AP College Board. Learning lesson plan for biological basis and behaviors due, demonstration, presentations, and so forth. Lesson plan for sensations and perceptions due. Again, all these things are, most of this is just presentations. Now, we do have some work where you'll have to do some research or compare or provide some ideas. We'll go on down so you can see what those look like. There we go. All right, for one of the bigger assignments is the teaching philosophy. It's an 8 to 12 page paper, and you answer all these questions as you go through. Okay, how do you see yourself as an educator? What do you see? How do you see yourself? How do you view student learning? How do you view learning? How do you define student success? How will your classroom be student-centered? How will you reconcile, and so forth. So all the way down, all this is for you to kind of like self-reflect on, what you think the perfect classroom would be. Okay, the perfect teacher, or the most ideal teacher you can be. Okay. We also have another assignment where you compare psychology textbooks. Now, I used to give hard copies to everybody, but there are some you can find online that we can do. And then you answer these questions. What is the order? How much space time is taken up by pictures? Aids in the textbook and so forth. And then we also compare websites. Educational websites for psychology. And there's a bunch of other things right there for you to answer in regards to that. Now, all these will be up here, and they'll all be due at different time periods. And the grading scale is just a normal grading scale. Let's see. Let's go back up here. See, like right here, comparative websites is due November 30th, and, lesson plan. So I'll let you guys go through this on your own and see what, see how the semester is going to go. And by the way, another thing, I have no experience with Canvas, so I might screw things up. In fact, more than likely, I will screw things up on there. If I do, just tell me or inform me, and I'll try my best to fix whatever I've screwed up. And hopefully that doesn't happen very often. But since I have never used this and no one's really taught me, I have no training over this whatsoever. I'm kind of on my own on Canvas. I've never used it before in this method. So again, if I screw up, I'm sorry, and tell me, and I'll try to fix it. And if I'm confusing you, make sure you get a hold of me too, because I've been known to do that a few times as well. And that's the last thing I want to do. So this is the syllabus. So make sure you just kind of go over it, see what's expected, see how this semester is going to go, and hopefully, it's not as good as being there face to face, but hopefully everything will come out okay. All right. This is the rubric that we will use when teaching or grading your lesson plans. Okay. And so right here, it shows you content knowledge worth up to 30 points. Okay. And it shows you what it will be if you come short of that 30 points. Okay. Again, very important right here is for an 80-minute psychology course. 80 minutes, 80. Okay. So make sure you understand that when you do your lesson plans, to make your lesson plans something that will last for 80 minutes. And then you have effective practice, candidates, choreography of content and activities is incomplete, not aligned, and so forth. Okay. So make sure you read this rubric, because this will be the rubric that we will use for all of our lesson plans. Okay. So this is where you'll get most of your scores in this course, besides those other assignments that we talked about. All right. And again, diversity is something that's very, very important. I couldn't remember that name earlier. Now I remember it. Okay. All right. Now I've seen it, and now I remember it. Anyways, use diversity in your assignments the best that you can, and so forth. Okay. Let's close out of that. Okay, here are the national standards that we will use. Hopefully it comes up. All right, so this is it. These are the standards. We have no state standards in psychology, which makes things a little easier, I think. But the thing about psychology, things don't change a whole lot, especially when you talk about the scientific domain, how we conduct experiments, and all those other good things. So what you do is you click on these, and it tells you, here's your standards. So when you do your lesson plans, make sure you use these standards to go by whenever you conduct your lesson plans. Okay? All right. Now, I'm not for sure what your experience in lesson planning is. And so we have to use terms that help us understand lesson plans. If you would like, I probably should have put this on there. I could provide some lesson plans, or you can pick your own lesson plans. If you're not for sure, type it in maybe YouTube. Now you're looking at what I like to watch. Lesson plans for high schoolers, for teachers. Let's try teachers. Okay. All right, and so this will give you several different videos they can use to how to lesson plan. Now, in order to begin any good lesson plan, you have to have your standards, and then you have to have your objectives. I'll try to have another video of that later, because plainly I just forgot to do this part of that's my daughter back there. Her name is Maya. She's 9 years old. She's probably the cutest girl on this planet. Just saying. All right. Anyways, and I have a son. He's 14. He's starting high school this year. Kind of weird. I gotta tell you, he was just a baby the other day. His voice is changing. Oh, weird. Anyways, so I'll come back. I'm making another video, and I'll come back better prepared on how the different parts of the lesson plan. So I can't really believe I forgot to do that, but I'll get that down for you. Okay. So here is the Bloom's taxonomy words that you can use for your objectives, and what level of understanding and analysis is expected by using these terms and what you expect to learn. Okay. We got evaluations. It shows you, things have changed over the years. Right here, 2001, which is now almost 20 years ago. That's nuts. Anyways, everybody should remember like specific dates. All right. This is history of something. Understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, and create. Okay. This works for me too. All right. You want to start off with the base and hopefully work your way up to something that is much higher and much more critical thinking that's happening. Because, I tell my students, I go, why are we in school? What's the purpose of school? And sometimes I think we lose purpose in why we are in education. A lot of people will say, learn about history and math and all those other things. And all those things are very important. But to me, education is about learning how to think. Learning how to be able to be a good critical thinker and to be able to practice good critical thinking every day. To be able to analyze, to be objective, all right, to be able to accept being wrong when the evidence says that you are wrong. That is a very difficult thing for people to do. To say that they're wrong. And look, Matt, we're in I'm 47 years old. And this is the worst political climate there has ever been as long as I've been around. And what's happened is that we got people who ignore evidence, who have no objectivity at all, who don't even try to be objective in their thoughts and their viewpoints, who don't even try to understand or accept the possibility that you could be wrong, who are unwilling to change their mindsets, to change their viewpoints based on evidence. And to me, that's the biggest issue right now in our society. We have a nation full of people who want to be right. They'd rather be right than seek the truth. And so, to me, that's the biggest number one issue in our society today. Our society, a large segment of it, is not very good critical thinkers. We don't even try to critical think. And so, to me, this Bloom's taxonomy helps with critical thinking skills. To me, the number one reason why we are in school, to learn how to think. Okay. And so I would go over this, again, we got factual knowledge, then you go conceptual, procedural, metacognitive, and so forth. All right. So we'll go over this and try to understand Bloom's taxonomy. Again, I'm not for sure how much you guys know of Bloom's taxonomy, how much you've done and lesson planning or anything like that. Hope to have another video about the parts of the lesson plans that you need to have. Make sure. All right. So make sure you go over all this. Okay. I'm not sure. I don't remember what this is, but let me look at it real quick. Oh, the 25 learning principles. Okay, so these are the 25 learning principles designed for great learning environments. These are things that you want to have in your classrooms. Things that will increase those critical thinking skills that I was just talking about. And increase content knowledge of the material. And if you use diversity, which is a requirement for all of our lesson plans, if you use diversity, then I lost my train of thought there. But anyways, these are the things, continuity effects. Okay. Make sure you go over all this. Perceptual motor grounding. All right. Kind of go through here and kind of look through things and see, understand, the testing effects. That's a huge thing in education. Okay. Some students do better taking tests. Some students may know the content, but do really poorly on some of these tests. Why? Stress gets in the way. That's another thing when we start up school. We're starting high school up, apparently, here on September 2nd. There's going to be a lot of stressed out teachers and stressed out students in regards to COVID-19. So what does that mean? Are students and teachers going to be able to do their part in education with the stress of having a pandemic, uncontrolled pandemic in our community and perhaps in our schools? How's that going to affect education? Spacing effects. This is the idea that space this. Okay, yes, I was right. I just wanted to make sure I was right. Spacing effects is basically don't cram for anything. Instead of cramming for 3 hours the night before a test, study half hour a day for a week. Makes sense, right? Don't procrastinate. Don't do it. Exams. Just go through here and kind of look through this, and just have a general understanding of what the classroom, a good classroom, would be like, and the considerations that you have to bring in the classroom for you to be an effective teacher and for students to be effective learners. Okay. Anyways, there's 25 of them. Look through them, and hopefully everything will be okay. Okay. All right. Next. Let me go back to modules here. Okay. So discussions right here is picking a time to meet once a week. Okay. At least once a week, we need to meet live so that we can have interactions with one another. So you could teach me psychology, okay? Or you could teach your classmates, if we have any more classmates. So far, I just have one. Psychology. And not only that, and what I hope that we do is that we share lesson plans with one another, and then we can use each other's lesson plans in the future. Okay? We can learn from one another, get ideas from one another. So that's what teaching is, really. People are always stealing other people's stuff all the time in education. And you know what? That is 100% okay, because we are not competing with one another. This is a public education. This is not a private business. If it were private, maybe you want to keep your stuff to yourself because you want to outdo someone else, right? But this is public. This is where we share. This is where we give our ideas. And this, to me, this is the best way to do things. Okay? So make sure that right here that we pick a time during the week that we can all meet via Zoom after 4 o'clock. Okay? So in our discussion, we'll just discuss times that work best for everybody, and then pick a time that hopefully we all can come together at least once a week and talk to one another, or do our lesson plans with one another. And I can talk to you guys about or lecture to you guys about some things. If you'd rather have my lectures be recorded, that's fine. Otherwise, I could try doing it live too. And so we'll see what happens. So again, here's all the assignments that we'll do. Most of these are lesson plans, but again, you got these down here. You got Introduction to Psychology textbooks, website, and teaching philosophy. Okay. Again, I am not used to using Zoom. I have no training in Zoom, or not Zoom, Canvas. All right. And so I haven't published this yet. I'm waiting on directions from the IT guy about how to do everything. But here you go. This is our stuff here. Lesson plan, presentation. This is where we'll put our Zoom link. All right. When you present your lesson plans to everybody else live, and we can ask questions. We can play your games if we can. Whatever it needs to be, we can do it. Okay. Or we could try to do it anyways. So there you go. That is our course. Now, final examination. I'm required to give one, so I'm going to give you guys one. But it'll be just general psychology stuff, as if you're taking a psychology test. And I'll leave it open. I'll give you guys plenty of time. I'll probably use Google tests and make up a test that you can do. So hopefully that works. Okay. Now, I hope this was good. I did well with this. Like I said, I am doing this way. I've been teaching this course like once every 2 years for as long as I've been teaching. So this is probably my sixth or seventh time teaching this course. I've never done it this way. Like I said, the Canvas or the pandemic has really threw a wrench in everything. And it is my hope that you guys learn some things. And again, if I screw up, and I will, I apologize already because I've never used Canvas. And I'm sure I didn't do a fabulous job just now. If you need any more explanation, please tell me, and I'll do my best. Also, don't forget, you have my phone number. My daughter's always on my phone, so you can text me if you need to. Just make sure you put your name and or email me through my high school email that's on the syllabus, and I should be able to get back to you and hopefully figure things out for you. All right. Are there any questions? If you have any questions, make sure you get a hold of me. Again, thank you for taking this course. Thank you for choosing to be a psychology teacher. We're normally the weirdest ones in the school. And sometimes, and that's okay. And it's okay to be a weird teacher because that makes you memorable. And it makes and psychology is just one of those classes where you should feel lucky to teach if you are able to teach it. Because, like I said, students don't come in there hating it already or loving it. Whether they hate it or love it is kind of up to you. And so this is your way of, and I'm lucky. I love this job. I'm a little scared about going back right now with this pandemic, and it's out of control, and I really do want to go back, but I just want to go back as safely as we possibly can. And then I got my 2 children that need to go to school, socialize. But if you want to tell me more about yourself, put it in the discussion area where we learn about, or when we talk about uh, when is the best time. So make sure you do that in the discussion area because we like to learn about you. All right, all right. If you need anything, please get a hold of me. All right, bye. See how you turn this off. Stop.